I'm very pleased to welcome Johnny Lloyd and Patrick Seebacher, both from Eastman Dance Company, the dance company from Sidi Larbi Cherkaoui. And they are both dancers within the production called Fractus 5. So as far as I know, Fractus is talking about breaks in life, to get better, to have friction and to learn about it. But it's a lot as well about intercultural dialogues, and it's a lot about personal responsibility. Where does it start and where does it end? But I think you guys, you know a lot more, or you can tell us a lot more about the piece called Fractus. There's one thing I would like to tell. You are 9 men on stage, so it's a male production. Would women be pleased to see it?
I guess that depends on the woman, of course. But I think sometimes in dance it's pretty exciting to see a group of guys. It's by no means a political statement. It's much more coincidence. It's the people that Larbi wanted to work with in different situations, and he decided to bring them all together for this piece. But I think it's sometimes it's nice to see the masculine energy on stage and with each other. But
well, I can say I loved it because I saw the piece and
okay.
I got very
and you're a woman,
seduced.
So
I'm
good.
a woman. I got very seduced. But it's another energy on stage. I mean, it's really another energy if you have like a mixed company or it's just like male energy on stage. And I liked it. So, what can you tell us about intercultural dialogue, or why would you, or how do you work all together? Because you're coming from different backgrounds, not only dance-wise, but as well as nationalities and individuals.
Exactly. So it's like really each dance of these 9 guys have a different background, from musicians who come from traditional music from Korea, Japan and India, like also an African singer, and dancers with different backgrounds. And it's, I think, really interesting to work with those cultures together, because each one of them has their own speciality and some interesting vocabulary, and they are all kind of an art by themselves. So what Larbi did is the putting together of those made it, I say, collage, a really interesting picture to bring them together. And I think each of them were really open to each of the other dancers to really approach their style and their elements in a really open way. So it was.
So tell me, because when I was talking to Larbi about the upcoming piece and decided to co-produce the piece, at that moment I was not aware that this intercultural dialogue is going to be so strong, or it's going to be an issue. Because now, since 2 years there, we had a lot of refugees coming to Europe, and this means a lot of people are afraid, you know, of these foreign people coming on, what's going on. And as far as I know, you had a very nice experience, because one day ahead of the premiere, the theater invited a lot of refugees to see the piece. Can you tell us how this was?
Yeah, well, it was a late decision, and the director of the theater in Antwerp at de Singel invited, in conversation with Sidi Larbi, invited, I think there was about 800 who came. We were a little bit nervous because, of course, the piece is, it's tough in moments, because it is citing the violence that appears in media, for example. So there are harsh situations in the piece, and you don't always know how different audiences are going to respond. And then this was a very specific audience, but it was exciting for us, but mostly exciting was to see their response, because they loved it, and they were inspired and very excited. I got to talk to a lot of them afterward, and just the general response was that they were really excited to have seen this.
And why? What was the excitement? What were like, you know, concrete sentence or reflections they gave to you?
Yeah, well, I think it was some of it was recognition, some of it was surprise. I think the three guys that I were talking to, they had not seen a dance piece in a theater like this before. So there was also a lot of reaction to the artistic situation for the presentation of dance on stage and the kinds of dancing that we were doing. Also, I think for some of them it was the first time that they had seen these styles. And so there was this surprised reaction, like from many audiences that see the juxtapositions of genres together. But then there was also some affinity and appreciation for the issues that we were dealing with. Which are specifically the problems of manipulation of information through institutions and also through the media, and even though it's a daft sentence, it's, I think, accessible in the piece, and I think that was appreciated.
And can you tell us more about this manipulation through media?
Well, I think the focus in the piece is not so much on the media, but more about institutions, because it's the inspiration we have is from Noam Chomsky, who's on the internet quite, you can see him a lot. He's a philosopher about politics, and we took specific texts from him, and the text, I say the text in the piece, so I could quote it for you right now, but I would have to dance at the same time, so I won't do that.
Well, but that would be pleasing.
It's a trio, so
yeah,
it would be hard alone.
Yeah.
But it's specifically about the First World War and how Germany saw that in the First World War there was very specific propaganda against Germany by the British Ministry of Information. So in Britain there was a Ministry of Information which helped to create populist attitude against Germany. And this impressed people. It impressed also Americans and business people. And so the culture of manipulating how people thought was advanced or created at this moment. And so the text or the idea of the piece actually is that it's very difficult as an individual to find all of the information which is accurate about the world, about our specific societies, to find the truth. It's a full-time job because we are presented with so much information, and a lot of the information is watered down. That's the essence of Chomsky's text, that the information, you either have to work hard to get it, or it has to be incorporated into political institutions. Culture is one of them. Or culture is one of the ways that we have access to information.
And is it true, as far as I know about LARPy, is that there's one thing, there's one thing to get information and to go deeper information, but he suggests often that in dialogues with people, especially people we don't know so much, or different people or different backgrounds, would help to get closer to information and would help to find out more about life and society. Would you say this is true?
I definitely think it's true. It's like searching for resource and yeah, it's like an exchange of information, and like some people, like we were saying, refugees were at the place, so you have a direct communication with people who are like in a situation that we try to put into the piece, and it's like these communication with people like all over the world, multicultural people, each kind of person have a different source and a different information source that can be like.
And on the very personal level, because you are working together with very different people in the companies, or you are communicating and dancing with very different people in the company. If I would ask first you, what did you learn by just doing this piece, Fractus?
Oh, that's a lot. I always say, like, I have a different background. I always say this, I come from the hip-hop, from the urban scene, and it's quite a different approach to dance than it is on a theater stage and a contemporary context. It's so much more open for different dance styles, while it's really like focused on different labels and styles in the urban scene. It is really open. In Fractus 5 you can see so many different approaches, dancer from circus, from flamenco, different musicians, so it's like bringing things together. So the approach of each person has definitely changed my own perspective of how to approach the theater stage and the theater scene. So it's really interesting and helped me. Larbi itself, he opened a lot of doors for me and a lot of perspectives for me, and also I learned a lot of personal things, like how I could, how you say, like on a human level, how I can also change and develop myself. Yeah. So it is like a blessing to be part of this production.
And is it pleasing and nice to work with Larbi, or is it difficult?
You or me? Both.
I've had a lot of projects with Larbi. I think I've danced in 4 pieces, and I've assisted on a couple pieces as well. And it's definitely enriching. And he's a great guy. I mean, he has a big heart for the people that he works with. It's very important to him that that these people feel happy, and that they're also challenged. It weighs very much on his heart. I think working with any choreographer in the arts, there's stressful moments. There's stressful moments between the dancers. You have time pressure. There's a premiere coming, and it's a premiere which is going to be seen by the public. So these situations put on stress, and so we all fight with each other at one point. But we also keep that headed towards producing something good. So even the arguing, we all are containing it and resolving it quickly. I think it's very natural, and maybe even adds some spice. But on a general level, I think Larbi is very wise. He's a great director. You can learn a lot about him, and he cares a lot for the people he's working with. He cares very actively for them. So it's just fun.
Because I really like to discuss with Larbi, because you never discuss for 5 minutes with Larbi. It's always going to take a while.
Yes.
But he's always digging deep into different subjects, you know. So it's always very inspiring for me, because sometimes it just brings to me ideas I didn't have before, or it's vice versa, you know. It's always enriching, I would say, to discuss with him or to argue with him. Even me, I had sort of argues with him, but at the end, it's always for a very good result, I would say.
I think it's a little bit like the exchange of cultural backgrounds. I mean, Larbi has collected a lot of information because he's interested, and he's had a lot of contact with people from different cultures, from different backgrounds, from different arts, and he's just a smart guy. So I think it's a conversation with him. It's usually inspiring, because there's just a lot to access. Just like there being 9 guys in the piece who all come from a specific country. Actually, we all come from a different country. And now I know I love Japanese drumming. I didn't know that before. And I also understand the connection to Korean stringed instruments that really moves me. And I see also affinities of soulfulness, because we actually both are very involved in urban dance forms, and it's a soulful dance, but it's not the only soulful dance. And I've been a big fan of African American dance, and I've thought that's the soulful dance. Of course it's not. Flamenco is the soulful dance, and the Japanese music, it's very soulful. The way they sing, it's startlingly beautiful and also very strong. And so it's just, I think it's access to information. And that's the nice thing about working with culturally diverse people. It's the nice thing about talking to Larbi, and it's the nice thing about making art.
True. So I'm very much looking forward to see again Fractus within the Dance Festival, and to welcome you again on the Swiss tour. And thank you very much for this conversation.